Israel, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party has won a surprise victory, putting him on a course for a fourth term in office. With 99.5% of the votes counted, Likud won 29 or 30 seats in the 120-member Knesset. The Zionist Union opposition placed second with 24 seats. A united list of Arab parties came in third. Exit polls had showed Likud and the Zionist Union in a close tie. But in the final days of the campaign, Netanyahu stressed his right-wing positions. He visited the Har Homa settlement and vowed to ramp up the construction of more settlements in occupied East Jerusalem. And he unequivocally ruled out allowing a Palestinian state, thus reneging on his nominal 2009 endorsement of a two-state solution. On election day, he railed against Israel's Arab voters.
Right-wing rule is in danger. Arab voters are streaming en masse to the polling stations. The left-wing non-profit organizations are bringing them in buses. Go out to the polling station, bring your friends and family, and vote Likud in order to close the gap between us and the Labour Party. With your help and God's help, we will form a national government and protect the state of Israel.
Statement, Likud said Netanyahu intended to form a new government within weeks, with negotiations already underway with a number of parties, including the pro-settler Jewish Home Party and ultra-Orthodox groups. Isaac Herzog, the leader of the Zionist Union and the son of a former Israeli president, conceded defeat, saying he'd called Netanyahu to congratulate him. The Zionist Union also ran on a platform for Israel to keep major settlement blocks in the occupied West Bank, keep Jerusalem as Israel's undivided capital, and block the right of return for Palestinian refugees. On Tuesday, Saeb Erekat, chief Palestinian negotiator, responded to the election results.
Well, I think the results of the Israeli elections indicate business as usual. It seems to me that Mr. Netanyahu will form the next government in Israel. And we all heard what he said yesterday. He said if he is re-elected as a prime minister in Israel, Mr. Netanyahu said he will not allow a Palestinian state. He will continue with settlement activities and dictations. I believe he was not campaigning in the elections. I believe he was honest, and he specified his truth. Mr. Netanyahu has done nothing in his political life but to destroy the two-state solution. And I believe now it's up to the international community to stop treating this prime minister as above the laws of man, and he should be held accountable. And the international community should not cover him or give him impunity. Impunity will mean more conflict, more complexities, and it will not make peace. Justice will make peace.
Palestinian negotiator Saeb Erekat. To talk more about the Israeli election, we're joined by two guests. Joining us from Tel Aviv, Jamal Zahalka. He is an Arab member of the Israeli Knesset, chair of the political bloc of Arab parties known as the Joint List, which took third place in Tuesday's election, winning 13 seats. He has served as a member of the Knesset since 2003. Here in New York, we're joined by the Israeli journalist Amira Haas, correspondent for the Israeli newspaper Haaretz in the occupied Palestinian territories. She's based in Ramallah. She's the only Israeli Jewish journalist to have spent more than 20 years living in and reporting from Gaza and the West Bank. Her book, Diary of Bergen-Belsen, 1944 to 1945, written by her mother, Hannah Levy Haas, with her own afterword and introduction, is also just out in paperback this week. We welcome you both to Democracy Now! Let's begin with you, Amira Haas. Your reaction. Would you call this a surprise victory?
Not at all. Not at all. The whole campaign was not about the real issues of war, of occupation, of Israeli continued colonization. The cosmetics differences between the Labour, which is now called the Zionist Alliance or the Zionist camp, and Likud were minor, did not attract people's real enthusiasm. What Netanyahu has been offering for the past years continues to be a winning horse for most of the people. That means the non-existent welfare state in Israel proper now exists in the occupied territory in the forms of colonies, well-pampered colonies. So it is always an option for Israelis to move to the occupied territory to improve their conditions. Inside Israel, his policies guarantee that there will be continue the policy which discriminates Palestinians, Israeli citizens from their against the Israeli Jews. With a combination of support of the right-wing parties, of the religious parties, I think his position was guaranteed. The change would have been only in the puzzle. I mean, if he gets 28 seats and not 30 seats. So for me, I didn't expect much more. And when people say that that is because he promised now not to have a Palestinian state, to do everything against a Palestinian state, his actions have done everything possible to prevent this from happening anyway. So it's not about statements that people fall to. I mean, it's the reality that he's established for the past, and not only he, other parties as well. So it's not about the last moment statements. I think that what guaranteed his position. Labor, anyway, the two-state solution that people that other parties like the Labour Party advocate, I call it the 10-state solution or the 7-8 solutions, which doesn't see Gaza in a Palestinian state, and the Palestinian state itself is a bunch of Bantustans inside the West Bank.
And what about the impact on the international community of Netanyahu's last-minute veering even more to the right on many of these issues and his attacks on Arab citizens within Israel? What's going to be the long-term impact?
This has to be seen because, I mean, we always expect, you know, we feel that every time Israel is crossing a red line, and now is the moment for the world to react, and there it doesn't react, the world. So still we want to see it reacting. We thought that the war on Gaza was a red line that was crossed again, and good relationships with Europe, with America continue. So of course we want to hope that something will change, and not only among rank and file and grassroots levels, but also among the political echelons and their decisions. But so far, as long as Israel is considered part of the enlightened democratic West, and Israelis are welcome, and Israeli sport teams are welcome everywhere in the world, and scientists, etc., Israel is seen as part of this world.
We're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll go to Tel Aviv as well to get response from Dr. Jamal Zahalka, who is a Knesset member for more than a decade and chair of the Joint List. This is Democracy Now! We'll be back in a minute.